Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeff White, Jeff White Fitness Solutions. Knowledge is power. And today we're going to talk finances, we're going to talk money. That is a really hot topic these days, especially with the economy as bad as it is, with inflation and prices going up. Many people are struggling right now, but all is not lost. There are things that we can do to help ourselves get out of this situation. So it's critical to recognize the things that are keeping us poor. We are we all have some really bad financial habits that we must pay attention to. Some of us have more bad habits than others, but there's something that we all can do to improve our financial situation. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 things that are keeping us poor. So, we're going to go over these and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think as well. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, we're finna hit the ground running. So, the bad habit number 1 that keeps us poor is poor health habits. Now, this is a huge one, and I don't know if many people really think about it along these lines, but if you're in poor health, you can pretty much be guaranteed it's going to keep you in financial difficulty because, there are several reasons. The first is reduced quality of life. If you're sick or sickly, you can't put forth your best effort to be successful and succeed. You can't really put in the long hours that you're going to have to do to make a lot of money. You just won't have the energy to do it. And then another one you really have to think about is the cost of medication. Medicine is expensive, and depending on the type of health issue it is, you could be taking that medication for the rest of your life. Think about it: high blood pressure meds, diabetes meds, antidepressants, and things of that nature. Many people are on those for years and years, and that is just another bill. And they keep going up in price, they keep getting more expensive. So that's basically money that you could have been spending on investing and in assets and things of that nature. You're spending on your health. So it's critical that we make our health a top priority. And then look at it like this too. When you get older, you want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You want to be physically and mentally healthy and well enough to finally relax and enjoy what you work so hard to attain and achieve over the years. You don't want to reach a retirement age and be too sick to enjoy the hard work you put in. So, poor health habits are number 1. That's just my personal opinion. So you have to get some type of daily exercise, even walking. You want to make sure you get your vitamin D. Make sure you get a good night's sleep every single night, and drink a lot of water. It's just that simple. Of course, you want to eat your fruits and vegetables every single day, and cut out the snacking, cut out the artificial foods and processed foods. Those things are just making you sick, and it's just a recipe for disaster if you keep eating the wrong foods. So if you really want to be financially free and get rid of the bad spending habits and take your finances to another level, you got to maintain good health. That is number 1. Now, the next bad habit is the lack of knowledge about money and how money really works. See, I used to be a financial advisor, and when I became a broker, that really opened my eyes to a whole world out there that I had no idea existed. Money is big business, and unfortunately, our schools here in America really don't teach us about money. And I'll just give you a real quick example. For example, we all know the US dollar is like the number 1 currency in the world, but it wasn't always like that. See, in our lifetime, the US dollar is the world reserve currency. But over the last several hundred years, there have been other forms of currency from other countries that were the world reserve currency. But see, we don't know that. We're not taught that in school. And if you look at that picture on the top right, you can see that there have been other currencies that were the world reserve currency. But if you look at it, you can see that after about 100 years, give or take a few years, they eventually lost that world reserve currency status and another currency took over. The US dollar is near the end of its reign as the world reserve currency, but people don't know that. But one way you can tell is by looking at the purchasing power of the dollar, which is the picture that's on the bottom left. You can clearly see how the purchasing power of the dollar has been steadily decreasing. And you really don't need this picture to see that. All you have to do is go to the grocery store and compare prices from 2, 5, 10 years ago. And you can clearly see that things are getting more expensive. And the reason why is because the dollar is rapidly losing its purchasing power. Now, see, if people don't really understand that, they won't even think that there are some things they can do to protect themselves and their purchasing power. And if you don't know that or don't have the knowledge about how money works, you won't take the necessary steps and precautions to help yourself and get out of this bad habit. So it's very important you understand the history of money, how money works, and then once you have that basic knowledge, then you can take the next step and figure out what you can do to help protect yourself. But this is a really bad habit that we must overcome. So now, bad habit number 3 plays right into the hands of bad habit number 2, and that is having only one income source or type of income. So again, as I said before, we are all focused on the dollar, and this parlays into just getting dollars. And the average person thinks that to get dollars, you just have to get a job, and then you want to save for retirement. And then basically you just have that one type of income, which is earned income. Meanwhile, there are several different ways to make money, but the average person doesn't really think along those lines. See, we were taught, as I just said, to just get a job and get that 401k and then live off of your retirement savings. Well, that's a recipe for disaster when it comes to things like inflation. And then what if you can't save enough for retirement, or you want to work, but you simply can't work? This sets you up for failure. It's a recipe for disaster. And the average person, this is all we know. And so this literally keeps us poor because we don't understand that we have different options out there. So again, if you understand how money works, like in bad habit number 2, then bad habit number 3, you will say to yourself, okay, what can I do to help improve my situation? If the dollar is losing its world reserve currency status, or if it is decreasing in value and its purchasing power, what can I do to protect myself? So it all plays on each other. And it's all about just having that knowledge. Again, knowledge is power. So let's talk about this bad habit and what we can do to help ourselves. Okay, so as I said in the previous slide, the average person has just one job, and unfortunately, that one job is not going to cut it. You have that one job, and that's supposed to pay all your bills. Well, that is, again, as I said before, a recipe for disaster. So what we want to do instead is to have multiple sources of income, or multiple income streams. Now, I'm not saying multiple jobs, I'm saying multiple income streams. See, the average millionaire has 7 income streams, where the average person has mainly one. They might have 2 if they have 2 jobs. But if you think about it, you can't have 7 jobs, but you can have 7, 8, 9, 10 income streams. That is the difference, and that is the key to getting where you want to be financially and not being poor. So that can really help you get to where you want to be. And one of the best things to have is passive income. Because as I said before, a person may want to work, but they can't work, or they want to retire and not have to rely on their savings that keeps dwindling. See, that is the biggest secret. People think when you retire, you're just going to live off savings. Ideally, you're going to have money coming in still as you reach your golden years. And if you can't work, you still have that money coming in every single month. That is the key, and that's the difference that the average person doesn't know. Wealthy people aren't just living on their savings, they have income coming in every single month from multiple sources. That's the difference. And once people understand that, then they can start moving forward. So here, I'm just plugging myself. I have a book written on this because I said I used to be a financial advisor and I learned a lot as a broker and as an entrepreneur. And this book is titled Invest for Success: Millionaire Wealth Strategies Not Taught in School. Invest for Success: Millionaire Wealth Strategies Not Taught in School. This book is available on Amazon, and I go into a lot more detail about having multiple income streams and some of the best ways to go about getting it. So check that book out. Download your copy today. So now you may say, well, okay, that sounds well and good, Jeff, but how do I get these multiple income streams and passive income? Well, one of the best ways, and again, this isn't taught in school like it should be, but what you want to do is you want to accumulate assets. You want to buy assets. And we're going to just go with the most basic definition of an asset here, and that is a resource owned or controlled by an individual, business, or government expected to provide future economic benefits. And you can basically say these are items that retain their value and or generate revenue for you. So the average person doesn't buy assets, they buy stuff, they accumulate stuff. Wealthy people, they have assets that can help them during difficult financial times. And this is how you want to start investing or spending your money. Even if you just have that one income source, you want to take that money from that earned income and use it to accumulate assets, because over time those assets may either be able to generate revenue for you and put you in a better situation, or allow you to buy additional assets in the future. So this is just an example, and in the next slide we're really going to go deep into accumulating assets and its importance. Okay, so let's go. All right, so here are a few top assets that we can accumulate. Now, some are easier to accumulate than others, but the strategy here is you can start with one, and then once you have enough of one, you can sell some of that asset to buy another asset. And then you can just keep doing that over time. So this is a long-term play. This isn't something that happens overnight, but you must have a strategy and must have a solid game plan and understanding of what's going on and what you need to do to improve your financial situation. Okay, so let's just go over this list real quick. So some top assets to accumulate are stocks, mutual funds and bonds, real estate, primarily rental property, precious metals such as gold and silver, businesses, and intellectual property like copyrights, patents, music, books, etc. And you want to own a variety of assets, because if one asset class goes down or is in some type of economic difficulty, you have others to help pick up the slack. See, the average person, when you hear the word diversification, they're thinking of stocks. They're thinking growth stocks, blue chip stocks, small cap stocks, et cetera, et cetera. But what they don't realize is that's not diversification. That's one asset class. True diversification is having stocks, having rental property, having a little bit of gold and silver, maybe even crypto. I know it's not on the list, but that's still another way to diversify. Owning a business or multiple businesses, and then having some intellectual property. Now, you won't have all of these, but over time, you could get at least three of these. Over time, you can get at least three. Or look at it like this: what if you are really big into the stock market, or even crypto, and over, say, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you have a nice chunk of change? What you could do is take some of those proceeds from your stocks or your crypto, then you can buy rental property. Think about it. So now you have rental property, right? And you renting it out and you're getting that monthly income from that rental property. The money you get from that rental property, what could you do? You could buy some gold and silver, or you could buy an existing business. Now, see, that's something that's not really talked about, where you can buy a business. The average person thinks you have to start a business from scratch, but the savvy entrepreneur, the savvy investor, they know you can go out and buy an existing business. So these are things you can do. Intellectual property. I've written books. I have 11 books. I have online courses. That's my intellectual property. Speaking of, I have a picture of one of my books here, and it's Planting Seeds, The Children's Guide to Entrepreneurship. That book is available also on Amazon. And think about it. They don't teach this in school, and one of the best ways to introduce people to it is when they're young. So check that book out, download it, or order a hard copy, and give it to your kids. It's a great way to introduce them to business and the mindset of, I can create my own. I can create my own business. I don't have to go out and get a job and just rely on that one income source. So it's just many different ways that we can do this. And of course, if you do have that one job right now, and there's nothing wrong with that, but take some of your money that you're making from that job and slowly find a way to accumulate assets. Like I said before, you can start with stocks, and then you can move up and get other assets as well. But you got to have a plan. All right, bad habit number 5. I saved the best or the worst or the most offensive for last, but it has to be talked about. And a lot of us are spending money on the wrong things. And it's simply the fact that we just don't know. We don't know. We just are spending money frivolously, and it's holding us back, and people don't really realize it. So again, you have to have a strategy. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And so here are just some things that we spend money on, and these basically are low value items that basically have no value, no worth. Once you buy it, your money's just gone, and you got nothing to show for it. You might think you do, but when you look back, it's like, where'd all my money go? You spent it on crap. That's basically what happened. And here are just a few examples. And I'll just read this list real quick: high interest credit card debt, unused magazine subscriptions, late fees, impulse buying, new cars, eating fast food daily, food delivery, and hair and nails. And pick one. Pick one on this list that you see that maybe you do. And if you think about it, if you add up how much you spend every month doing these things, you can see that you're spending a lot of money. And that money that you spend on this every single day could have been used to reinvest in a stock, or buy some stock or something to that effect, or maybe buy an ounce of silver or two, every week. And over time, that will really accumulate. But a lot of us are just wasting our money. Now, I'm not saying you can't, you know, buy something on impulse. Never, ever. No, I'm not saying that. But you can't do it all the time. You can't have food delivery, that's charging you X amount every single day. That accumulates. And the hair and nails, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. There are some women who will spend $500 a month on hair and nails. And me personally, I get dizzy just thinking about it. That's a lot of money spending every month, to look quote unquote good. And I don't know, but I'll just leave it at that. If you really want to be financially free and get out of the poorhouse, you got to cut back on some of this spending on the wrong things that are doing nothing for you, and take some of that money and invest it or spend it or buy assets like we discussed previously. This is this is key. This is critical. This is up there with the good health, because again, you're spending earned income on the wrong things. It could be medication, when you all you have to do is maintain good health and get yourself in good health, and stop buying things that that you really don't need. It's just that simple. You have to be smart with your money. Now, a strategy you can do is you can buy the asset first. And once you buy the asset and it starts to generate cash flow for you, the money you receive from that cash flow from that asset, that passive income, you can use that money to buy your hair and nails, to go buy something on impulse, to buy that new car. That's when you can buy those things from the asset that you already have. So a lot of people, they buy frivolous things from their earned income. They get a job, they get that paycheck, and they go buy crap. You don't want to do that. You want to take that earned income and parlay that money into assets that can help you generate passive income. See, again, you got to have a strategy, but the average person does not have a strategy. They're just winging it, and that is not going to help us survive these crazy economic times that we're living in. All right, everybody. So I want to thank you for checking out this video. We are at the end here, and it's simple at this point. If you really want to make some changes and become financially free, financially independent, you have to change your mindset. Change your mindset, you change your life. That's where it all begins. And one key component is having a healthy relationship with money. If you think money is the root of all evil, or you will do anything to get it, that's the wrong attitude. You have to live in a life of abundance and have a healthy relationship with money, where money will come to you, where you can attract money. And that's where that financial literacy comes in. That's where you can understand how money works, the history of money. Once you get all of that, then you can start to attract it in the many different ways that are available to you. Each of us is different. So, like, for example, I told you I have a bunch of books and online courses, and you can see 3 of my online courses here. And that is just one way to help yourself become financially independent, financially free, and wealthier than the average person. So that's just my avenue, but you have to find the route that works best for you. Some people are really big into real estate. Some people have a huge stock portfolio. So you have to find out what's going to work for you. So anyway, those are 3 of my courses on Udemy. So check them out. I think you'll find something that you really like, and they definitely pertain to what we just talked about today. So next thing you want to do is you want to learn how to generate different types of income. So remember, there are 3 basic types: earned income, passive income, and portfolio income. The average person has earned income. But again, what if you can't work? You want to make sure you have passive income. You don't want to have to rely on your savings to survive. What if you retire and then you live another 30 to 40 years? Do you really think your savings is going to last that long? I don't think so. Make sure you have some type of passive income and multiple income streams working for you. Up next, have a long term plan. It's just like when you on a fitness journey or weight loss journey. You're not going to lose 40 pounds in a week. It takes time. It takes time, sacrifice, and effort. And you must have that plan to almost make it like a lifestyle in order for it to work. That's what you have to do when it comes to being healthy. And that's what you have to do when it comes to your finances. Make it a lifestyle. Up next, slowly accumulate assets. You're not going to get all the assets overnight. You're not going to get 30 rental properties overnight. You're not going to get 10 ounces of gold or 200 ounces of silver overnight. You have to slowly accumulate over time. Just like you slowly lose weight over time, you slowly accumulate assets over time. Think of it as dollar cost averaging. Up next, be prepared to make sacrifices. Whatever you want in life, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. That means not spending as much money on frivolous items. Instead of buying certain things, you're going to buy other things as well, preferably some type of asset or something that can help make you money. And lastly, you want to make sure that you pass down your assets to your heirs. If you set it up properly, your kids, grandkids, and great grands will have something. And it's important that you educate them now while you still have the knowledge. So when you're long gone, they can continue on the same path. The last thing you want to see is you pass your assets down to your heirs, then they squander it all within in 2 years. That's just a nightmare. So have a plan, change your mindset, and you can definitely change your life. All right, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you think I left something out, or you just want to just talk about it. But is it hard? Yeah, it can be. But is it impossible? Absolutely not. We can definitely do this even during these trying times. Take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and you can achieve your financial goals. All right, guys, take care. Peace.